What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Halloween Spooktacular. Today I'm going to be talking about Freaky. This came out in 2020 during the pandemic. I actually missed it. I think when it came out, did it come out in theaters? If it didn't, it came out on VOD and I missed it because that was at that point where you had to pay like $25 just to rent a movie on VOD. You still do, and that's stupid. But this is a really fun one. It's directed by Christopher Landon. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's a really interesting spin on the whole Freaky Friday type of story. It's a body swapping horror comedy, which is what Christopher Landon is really a master at. Watch something like Happy Death Day. He's able to take a concept and have some scary elements, but also make kind of a joke out of it. And that's really what Freaky is. And that's what I love about Freaky. I'm not a big fan of Catherine Newton. I think I've made that pretty clear on this channel. I don't think she has like the star power that I think she has or that her agent thinks she has. I think she's more of a TV actress, and I think that she is one of the worst parts of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. She really soured me in that movie. That's one of the reasons why that's one of my least favorite MCU movies. Probably my least favorite MCU movie. When she's on, she's on. I actually think she has a lot of charm in Freaky, and she does a really good job when the whole body swap happens, as does Vince Vaughn, of playing the other character. Vince Vaughn does it brilliantly when he has to act like a teenage girl in high school and he's running around flopping his hands. It's really funny stuff, and it's actually a lot funnier than some of Christopher Landon's other movies, which is why I'm kind of happy he's not directing Scream 7 now, because I think Scream 7 would have leaned more into the comedy of it all rather than the horror of it all, where I think Freaky has a perfect balance between the two, even though it feels like this is more of a body swap comedy than it is an actual horror movie. And I was quite surprised on this rewatch of Freaky, because I had seen it once before, as to how bloody it was. It actually is fairly gory. There's a couple of good kills here, like the opening kill where Vince Vaughn as the Blissfield Butcher, who's the serial killer in this movie, he literally takes a wine bottle, slams it into a guy's mouth. The parts of the bottle come out of his neck, and his mouth is just open so wide with the bottle still in there that his mouth just got spliced open even more from the bottle. Or the one where they finally switch bodies and Catherine Newton is actually the Blissfield Butcher, but it's Catherine Newton, and she's pissed at this high school teacher who is essentially a dick to her. And she just cuts him up, slices him in half with a saw in the woodworking class. If you're repulsed by blood, if you're watching like a horror movie for the first time, you might look at that and be like, oh, that's really fucking gross. And yes, it is. The gross moments in this movie, the bloodier moments, are offset by the comedy. And I think that the camaraderie between these three friends, the banter between them, makes up a lot of that comedy. It's really funny. Like the friend Jack, he's hilarious. I love him in this. It's not the greatest body swapping movie you'll ever see. It falls into some horror movie cliches. There is one part in the movie that I think really slows the movie down. So Vince Vaughn has already body switched with Catherine Newton. I know, me explaining this is getting confusing. In order to understand the context of some scenes, you have to explain who's in whose body. So he's already in Catherine Newton's body, but you see Vince Vaughn there. He's just acting like Catherine Newton. And the friends leave him in the changing stall in the fitting room at a department store, and he's there meeting Catherine Newton's character's mother. That whole scene just kind of brings the movie down a little bit. It slows it down because it was on a fast pace, not like crack pacing, but it was still moving pretty fast. Like, it's going pretty quick. That scene alone just slows it down a lot. And that scene just goes on a little bit too long. I was checking my phone at that point. I was completely tuned out of that scene. I did not like that scene at all. And especially when it comes to Christopher Landon, let's go back to Scream 7 for a minute. I think a Scream 7 in this style, like Freaky, would be too similar to Scream 3. But he is really good at this type of horror, a horror comedy slasher. So it could work, but I just don't think he's the right man for Scream. But if he wants to make another Freaky movie, by all means do it. I mean, it's really Freaky Friday meets Friday the 13th. The original title for this was Freaky Friday the 13th. So he's definitely got some ideas. You can definitely tell he's inspired by a lot of classic horror movies and horror franchises. This is a fun one. It's nothing special, but if you've never seen Freaky, I think you'll have a good time. I think you'll have some laughs. I think if you are not a horror fan, but you are watching this for the first time because it has a bit of a lighter tone, because it is more of a horror comedy, you might be repulsed by some of the blood and the guts that occur with some of the kills, because even I didn't even remember that some of those were as brutal as they were. But I still think you will find the tone of this movie to be more in line of what you want. The tone this movie has feels like the tone of those like 90s slasher films like Scream, where you have kids that are in high school and you have all those types of high school scenes. That's what this feels like to me. I'm going to give Freaky a B+. It is a fun slasher. If they want to make another one, I hope they do. I wouldn't mind seeing this concept again, especially from somebody like Christopher Landon, who can mesh two genres together as well as he can. So if you have seen Freaky, let me know what you think of it in the comments section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.